In the near future, we will see a discovery by archaeologists underwater, which may become the key to understanding the mysteries of the ancient world. At least this is what one specialist says. It is claimed that this find is somehow connected with space and alien life. Also in this video, I will tell you about archaeological discoveries that have already managed to surprise archaeologists and the entire scientific world. Hi friend, you are on the KirTop channel. Santa Claus's grave. Archaeologists have discovered a sarcophagus in Turkey that may be the tomb of St. Nicholas, the prototype of Santa Claus. The find was made in the Church of St. Nicholas in Dimre, Antalya, during excavations that have been ongoing since 1989. The burial was found in an extension next to the temple. The sarcophagus, about 2 meters long, is made of local limestone. It was partially buried in the ground to a depth of 2 meters. Its design, with a raised, sloping lid, resembles other tombs in the region. Scientists believe that the church was built on the burial site of St. Nicholas the Wonderworker, Archbishop of Myra, known for his good deeds. It was his generosity and secret gifts that became the basis for the legends about Santa Claus. Babylon's vision of Earth and beyond. The Babylonian world map, or Imago Mundi, is one of the oldest known maps, dating back to around the 8th century BC. The clay tablet depicts the ancient Babylonians' view of the Earth. The center of the map depicts Babylon, located on the Euphrates River. The map is surrounded by important geographic features: Susa to the south, Urartu to the northeast, and Haban to the northwest. Beyond this area are triangular regions that researchers believe represent unknown lands or mountainous regions. The map is surrounded by a salt river called the Bitter River, which they believe ran across the entire planet. Mythical inscriptions mentioning the creation of land and sea by the god Marduk are also noteworthy, making the map not only a geographic but also a cosmological artifact. The UFO connection comes from the triangular regions beyond the map. Some researchers believe that the ancient inhabitants of Babylon tried to depict unknown lands, which they associated with divine or extraterrestrial beings. They were part of the Crucifixion story. An ancient Georgian painting depicting the crucifixion of Jesus Christ has drawn attention to a mysterious object that resembles a UFO. In the background behind the cross is an object that looks like a giant button with legs. One of the characters in the painting even points at it with his hand, which seems to be a deliberate emphasis by the artist. The origin of the painting and the name of its author remain unknown, although it is believed that the image was created about 1,000 years ago in the 11th century. The church where the painting is located dates back even earlier, to the 5th century, although the current building was erected between 1010 and 1029. Some believe that the object could represent guardian angels, although this contradicts traditional depictions of angels of that era who were usually depicted with wings. Others suggest that the artist may have intentionally depicted something resembling flying saucers as part of a larger symbolism, perhaps an allegory or an element of religious myth that has not survived into modern interpretations. The painting continues to generate interest and controversy, offering a unique perspective on the combination of religious art and unexplained symbols that remain a mystery to this day. Message from aliens. Easter Island, lost in the South Pacific Ocean, became famous for its giant stone statues, moai, and mysterious tablets with rongo-rongo writing. These ancient tablets, covered with strange hieroglyphs, still remain one of the greatest archaeological mysteries. Scientists believe that rongo-rongo is the writing of the Rapa Nui civilization, which flourished on the island until the 18th century. The story of their discovery begins in 1864 when the French missionary Eugene Ayraud first noticed wooden tablets covered with unusual signs. The tablets were made of toramira wood, which grows on the island, and were found in almost every home. However, most of these artifacts soon disappeared due to internecine wars and destruction. About 25 tablets have survived, and their study revealed a unique writing style reminiscent of inverted boustrophedon. This method of writing signs was previously found only among the Incas. The tablets depict figures of animals, plants, and anthropomorphic creatures. Scientists assume that these symbols could have been used to record rituals and myths. Of particular interest are the similarities between rongo-rongo and other ancient scripts. Some signs resemble the hieroglyphs of ancient Egypt, India, as well as the symbols of the Harappan civilization that flourished in the Indus Valley. Parallels were even drawn with the writings of the Kuna Indians from Central America and the drawings on the island of Sumatra. This gives rise to theories about possible connections between ancient cultures across the ocean. Attempts to decipher Rongorongo are still ongoing, but it has not yet been possible to fully understand these writings. One version is the description of rituals with sacrifices to the gods. Another hypothesis, more fantastic, suggests an extraterrestrial origin of these signs, hinting at contact with alien civilizations. Otherwise, how could people living on different continents have similar writing in those distant times? And in our time, having a huge amount of communication with each other through phones, satellites, and the internet, we speak different languages. The mystery of Rongorongo remains unsolved, but its study continues to inspire scientists and enthusiasts around the world. Message to aliens. The golden record attached to the Voyager spacecraft is a unique message from humanity to another civilization. Launched in 1977, the Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 spacecraft have become not only important instruments for exploring the solar system, but also symbols of humanity's desire to find contact with intelligent life beyond Earth. The record contains greetings in 55 languages, including ancient ones, music by great composers, sounds of nature, the sound of the wind, the splash of waves, the singing of birds, and even the beating of the human heart. It also contains 100 images representing the daily life of people, animals, architecture, and scientific achievements. To help aliens decipher the contents, the cover of the disc is engraved with instructions and a diagram of the location of the Earth relative to pulsars in our galaxy. This record is a kind of cosmic ambassador addressed not only to potential alien observers, but also to future generations of Earth. It reminds us that humanity is a single entity, capable of coming together to represent its culture, history, and planet. The message from Voyager is humanity's first conscious step in attempting to establish contact with extraterrestrial civilizations. Chinese Star Atlas. In 1907, a unique find was discovered in the caves of the city of Dunhuang in China, a star atlas created in the mid-7th century. This ancient document is considered the oldest known astronomical chart. The atlas reflects the deep understanding of Chinese astronomers of the structure of the celestial vault, significantly surpassing the knowledge available to Europe at that time. The Dunhuang map is striking in its accuracy. It contains images of not only large but also smaller constellations, as well as dim stars that had long remained unnoticed on Western star charts. Unlike Western traditions where stars were connected to form mythological figures, Chinese astronomers used simple imaginary lines to group stars. This allowed them to maintain scientific rigor and avoid subjective interpretations. The atlas represents an important stage in the development of astronomy, showing how far the ancient Chinese had advanced in space exploration. It is possible that this map was used not only for astronomical observations, but also for forecasts and navigation, which made it a tool of strategic importance. Some researchers believe that such precise knowledge of the starry sky could be connected with observations of unusual objects in the sky. Legends of ancient China are full of references to heavenly chariots and luminous phenomena, which gives grounds to connect such star atlases with interest in extraterrestrial phenomena. Traces of cannibalism in Britain. Archaeologists have discovered the remains of 37 Bronze Age people with traces of cannibalism in England. The burial was found in a 15-meter deep shaft in Charterhouse, Warren. Analysis of more than 3,000 bones, which belonged to men, women, and children of different ages, showed that they all died violently. The bones show traces of blows from blunt objects, cuts from dismemberment, and even teeth marks on the hands and feet. Scientists suggest that cannibalism was ritualistic and could have been a way of humiliating the defeated. The remains of cattle were also found in the burial, which, according to the researchers, symbolizes the mixing of human and animal remains to completely dehumanize the victims. This discovery destroys the idea of the peaceful nature of the early Bronze Age and demonstrates that mass violence, dismemberment, and dehumanization of enemies were part of human history in Britain thousands of years ago. The Great Comet of 1861. The 19th century was a special time for those who loved to look at the stars. During this period, from 1811 to 1882, people observed as many as 8 great comets that amazed the imagination of scientists and ordinary people. These celestial phenomena inspired artists, composers, and even amateur astronomers. Among all these comets, Donati's comet of 1858 occupies a special place. It was the first comet that was successfully photographed. But an even more amazing event was the appearance of the Great Comet of 1861. It turned out to be so close to the Earth that our planet literally passed through its tail. For 2 days, this tail obscured the sun's rays, creating an unusual twilight even during the day. The comet was discovered by a farmer from Australia, John Tebbutt. This young amateur astronomer noticed it in the constellation Eridanus on May 13, 1861. At first, he mistook it for a star, but later realized it was a comet. Convinced of his discovery, Tebbutt sent a letter to the local observatory and even published an article in the Sydney Morning Herald. The news of the comet's discovery quickly spread throughout the world. In June 1861, the comet was already observed in the northern hemisphere. Amazing descriptions of its brightness and size were published in newspapers in England. The comet's tail occupied a huge part of the sky and was visible even against the background of daylight. The real sensation was that the Earth crossed the comet's tail, which caused rare atmospheric phenomena. The sky was painted in yellow and reddish hues, and the sun's light became unusually weak. The magnificence of the comet impressed contemporaries, and for John Tebbutt, its discovery became the beginning of a brilliant career. Later, he built his own observatory and made many valuable observations. His contribution to astronomy is immortalized on the Australian $100 note, and the Great Comet of 1861 remains one of the most spectacular events in the history of space observations. Alfred's mysterious jewelry. In 1693 in Somerset, a farmer accidentally stumbled upon an object that changed the way historians perceive early medieval England. Under a layer of earth, a plow uncovered a unique artifact, Alfred's jewelry dating back to the 9th century. This find amazes with its craftsmanship. A piece of gold, enamel, and quartz, decorated with an intricate design and the inscription, "Alfred ordered me to do this." The artifact is associated with the legendary King Alfred the Great, known as one of the most enlightened rulers of England. It is believed that the jewelry could have been part of a staff or pointer used to read sacred texts. This tool represents the unification of power, wisdom, and Alfred's desire for enlightenment. The connection with UFOs and the mysteries of the past becomes interesting if you delve into the symbolism of the object. Some researchers suggest that the intricate design of the decoration and its glittering finish could have been inspired by observations of unusual celestial phenomena. At that time, comets and lights in the sky were perceived as messages from the gods, or even extraterrestrial civilizations. The first accurate images of the moon. The beginning of the 17th century was the era of the greatest discoveries in astronomy thanks to the invention of the telescope. The moon, previously considered a smooth celestial body, appeared to scientists in a completely new light. In 1609, Galileo Galilei used a telescope for the first time to study the moon, discovering many craters, mountains, and valleys on its surface. His observations became a real revolution in the perception of celestial bodies. Galileo captured his discoveries in a series of detailed drawings that for the first time depicted the real topography of the moon. These images were included in his work The Starry Messenger, published in 1610. Thanks to these sketches, it became obvious that the surface of the moon is much more complex than ancient philosophers assumed and consists of irregularities reminiscent of mountains on Earth. Interestingly, Galileo was not the first to point a telescope at the moon. Thomas Harriot, an English astronomer, began his observations of the moon as early as 1609. However, his drawings were less detailed and not as widely known. It was Galileo who had a key influence on the development of astronomy. The discovery of the moon as an uneven and living object inspired many generations of researchers. Some ufologists believe that Galileo's drawings may have been the first images of anomalies on the surface of the moon. This interest continues today, giving rise to many theories about the possible extraterrestrial origin of some lunar features. Silver amulet. In Germany, near Frankfurt, archaeologists have discovered a unique artifact, a silver amulet known as the Frankfurt silver inscription. This is the oldest evidence of Christianity north of the Alps, dating back to around 230–270 AD. The find significantly expands our understanding of the spread of Christianity in the Roman Empire. The amulet was found during excavations of a Roman cemetery in the Heilmannstrasse area of the ancient city of Nida. Among 127 burials, the burial ground of a man aged 35–45 years was of particular interest. Along with the usual burial gifts, such as pottery and an incense burner, a rolled-up silver foil was found under his chin. Analysis showed that this was a phylactery, an amulet designed to protect the wearer. The contents of the inscription applied to the silver were deciphered using computed tomography. The Latin text consists of 18 lines and contains exclusively Christian formulas. Holy, 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 and in the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Quotes from the Epistle of Apostle Paul to the Philippians are also included. This find proves that Christianity spread in the region several decades earlier than previously thought. Nida, as a major Roman cultural and administrative center, became the place where the new religion was able to gain a foothold in a multicultural environment.
America is waiting for little men from Saturn. America is once again gripped by excitement, this time because of unidentified flying drones. The situation is reminiscent of previous waves of mass interest, from flying saucers to Chinese weather balloons. It seems that this trend is repeated again and again, growing with new details and conspiracy theories. Amid the many videos circulating on the internet, some drones look more like a product of computer graphics. Special effects imposed in After Effects are easy to recognize for a person who is at least a little familiar with editing. However, this does not prevent the videos from causing heated discussions because viewers tend to believe what they see. The Biden administration claims that these are civilian commercial drones, and Donald Trump calls on the government to shoot down any unidentified objects and reveal the whole truth. A peculiarity of the American mentality is a love of conspiracy theories. Drones, like flying saucers in the past, immediately become the subject of speculation. They are already causing talk of alien intelligence, agents of Saturn, or even preparations for the inauguration of a hypothetical alien leader. Some recall black helicopters that allegedly abducted people on orders from reptilians. And here comes the alarm again, this time because of drones. It is curious that the excitement around unknown objects occurs with enviable regularity. Remember the Chinese balloons that flew over the USA for a long time until they were suddenly noticed. Then panic gripped society, which, however, quickly subsided. Perhaps the new wave of drone fever will soon fade away, or maybe we really are on the threshold of a new chapter in the history of strange phenomena. But for now, it seems the world is simply entertaining itself with new mystical theories to distract itself from more pressing problems. Coffin on the roof. For centuries, human bodies have been the subject of anatomy studies, often using executed criminals as the primary source. However, as the death penalty declined in the 18th and 19th centuries, medical schools began to suffer from a shortage of bodies for research. This problem gave rise to resurrectionists, people who dug up freshly buried corpses to sell to anatomists. To protect against such thefts, cemeteries were equipped with cages, traps, and hired guards. Some bodies were even left in dead man's houses so that decomposition would make them useless to robbers. But Englishman Henry Trigg found his own extremely unusual way. Henry lived in Stevenage in the 18th century, was a wealthy grocer, and was respected in the community. However, one day he witnessed thieves digging up a body in the cemetery. This shocked him so much that he decided not to let this happen to him. In his will, Henry asked that his body be placed in a lead coffin and placed under the rafters of his own barn, away from the cemetery. He even included a punishment for his relatives if his last will was violated. After his death in 1724, his body was indeed placed in the barn, which attracted a lot of curious visitors. Over time, the barn became an inn and Henry's coffin became a local landmark. However, his remains suffered a sad fate. Visitors and soldiers took them for souvenirs, and by the beginning of the 20th century, only a small part of the skeleton remained. Today, Henry's coffin still rests in the barn, but the remains are lost, leaving behind only legends about his ghost. Message from Galileo Galilei. The middle finger of the right hand of the great Italian astronomer Galileo Galilei, now kept in the Museo Galileo in Florence, has long been a symbol of scientific progress and the indomitable spirit of reason. This strange exhibit, enclosed in an elegant gilded glass egg, was removed from Galileo's body almost a century after his death. Why did this finger become such an important symbol? Galileo, famous for his discoveries in the field of astronomy, became the main opponent of church dogmas about the geocentric model of the world. His works on the heliocentric system were perceived as a challenge not only to religious beliefs, but also to the very idea of an unchanging structure of the world. The middle finger, as some believe, symbolizes the scientist's strict refusal to submit to dogma, defending the truth based on observations and scientific experiments. Today, in the age of space exploration, Galileo's finger can be seen as an ironic message to those who continue to ignore the advances of science, whether they be flat earthers or conspiracy theorists. Galileo, who first saw the moons of Jupiter and the stars of the Milky Way with a telescope, expanded humanity's understanding of the universe. His legacy continues to inspire those who seek the truth about our place in the cosmos, even if that truth may include the possibility of extraterrestrial life.
UFO expert finds portal. Expert Carl Nally from the UFO and Paranormal Research Ireland organization claims that in the central part of Ireland between Athlone and Slane, there may be a portal through which UFOs get to Earth. According to him, these sightings have become more frequent in recent months, and their purpose may be related to the study of the military force of Earthlings. This statement appeared against the backdrop of reports of unidentified objects spotted near military bases and nuclear facilities. According to Nally, the U.S. authorities were unable to establish the origin of these objects, which only strengthens the assumptions about their extraterrestrial origin. The expert paid special attention to Ireland, where numerous cases of UFO sightings have been recorded. Nally believes that places such as the region between Athlone and Slane may be portals through which alien ships travel between space and Earth. He also noted that such phenomena occur all over the world at the same time, which indicates a global increase in activity. Write in the comments, is it worth trusting such experts, and do you believe in the existence of alien life? Ancient bone floor. In the Dutch city of Alkmaar, archaeologists have made a unique find, part of a floor made of animal bones. This rare discovery was made on Amsterdam Street during reconstruction work on a building. A floor made of bones is a real rarity, especially for the province of North Holland, although similar examples have been found in other historic cities in the region, such as Hoorn, Enkhuizen, and Edam. Archaeologists have discovered that the floor is partly made of the midsection and feet of cattle. The bones were carefully processed to achieve the same height and arranged in a pattern. Some were positioned with their points upwards, others with flat cuts. They filled the gaps between antique tiles, creating a unique decorative pattern. The purpose of the bones in the floor structure remains a mystery. Perhaps they were used due to their availability and cheapness, or in connection with certain functions of the building. It is possible that specific activities related to meat trade or animal processing were carried out in this place, but the exact reasons have yet to be established. The moon was created by extraterrestrial civilizations. The moon, our satellite, is full of mysteries that still excite the minds of scientists. Its size is 27.4% the size of the Earth, but its mass is only 1.2%. These proportions, together with the data that the moon rings like a bell when struck by meteorites, suggest that it may be hollow. The depth of the craters is also surprising. Regardless of the size of the meteorites, it remains almost the same. 4.5 kilometers, which may indicate the presence of a strong protective layer under the surface. The composition of the moon adds intrigue. On its surface, processed metals such as brass and radioactive elements, including uranium-236 and neptunium-237, which are not found in nature, have been found. The moon is also disproportionately large for its satellite. It is 6 times larger than any other relative to the size of its planet. Its unique stability without hesitation also sets it apart from the celestial bodies. Mathematical coincidences further enhance the sense of artificiality. The distance to the Sun is 108 times its diameter, just as the distance to the Moon is 108 times its size, and its ideal geometry allows it to completely cover the Sun during eclipses. Also, the Moon always faces the Earth with one side, which is not typical for satellites, and stabilizes the Earth's axis, affecting the climate and biorhythms. These features suggest that the Moon is not just a natural object, but perhaps the result of artificial intervention, leaving us with more questions than answers.
Incredible discovery under the Nile. Archaeologists have made an amazing discovery under the Nile in the Aswan area, a collection of ancient Egyptian artifacts and rock carvings dating back to the era when the city experienced a massive flood. The relics date back to the reigns of pharaohs such as Amenhotep III, Thutmose IV, and Psammetichus II. Aswan, about 4,500 years ago, was an important trading and military center. Gold, wood, and spices were exchanged here, and local granite quarries supplied materials for the construction of temples, obelisks, and pyramids. However, after the construction of the Aswan Dam, most of the city was underwater. A Franco-Egyptian archaeological mission discovered unique rock reliefs depicting pharaohs, hieroglyphic inscriptions, and other sculptural elements. The work was carried out using modern technologies such as underwater scanning, photogrammetry, and 3D modeling. These methods allowed us to document the artifacts we found in detail and create digital copies of them. Of particular interest are the images of Amenhotep III, who ruled Egypt for about 40 years and left a rich legacy. His burial place was in the Theban necropolis on the west bank of the Nile, opposite modern Luxor. Unfortunately, many monuments associated with his era were damaged by floods, but the new find gives hope for the restoration of these historical relics. Mysterious floating island. The floating island of El Ojo in Argentina has inspired many speculations and theories, from a UFO haven to a place where ancient spirits live. However, scientists give a more rational explanation for its existence, considering it to be the result of natural processes of erosion and the movement of water masses. This mysterious round island is located in the swampy delta of the Parana River. Its name means eye in translation, due to its striking resemblance to a perfectly round eye when viewed from above. The island attracted attention in 2016 when Argentine director Sergio Noispierre explored the area for a documentary. From a bird's-eye view, El Ojo impresses with its shape and purity. The water around it, despite its apparent blackness, is crystal clear, which is unusual for the turbid waters of the delta. The diameter of the island is 118 meters, and its rotation around its axis is a consequence of the action of currents, which also polish the shore of the lake, forming perfect outlines. This process is ongoing, and scientists believe that it explains the round appearance of the island and the lake. El Ojo first appeared on satellite images about 20 years ago. Its origins are still shrouded in mystery. How and when it separated from the mainland is still unknown. Locals, although they knew about its existence, preferred to avoid the place, believing that an ancient deity lived there. Some put forward theories about UFOs or even a Nazi base, but there is no evidence to support these versions. Extraordinary burial unearthed. A unique artifact has been unearthed in a 6th century AD female burial in eastern Lincolnshire, England. A Roman cup dating to the 3rd century AD. The find, made during excavations at the Scramby Cemetery, explores the interaction between Anglo-Saxon and Roman cultures and sheds light on the burial customs of the time. The copper alloy cup was found in the grave of a young woman designated Ski 18. The deceased was also found to have 2 brooches and bracelets. The placement of the artifact next to the woman's head suggests its symbolic significance. The cup, known as the Scramby cup, is in excellent condition. It measures 5.7 centimeters high and holds around 280 milliliters. Its decoration is Roman in style, with crescent and heart patterns covered in red, aquamarine, and bluish-violet enamel, demonstrating the skill of Roman craftsmen. It is believed that the bowl was made in France and brought to England in the 3rd century AD. Analysis of the inside of the bowl revealed traces of unheated pork fat. This may indicate that it was used for ritual or medicinal purposes. Pig fat was used to treat infections at the time, which is consistent with Byzantine texts of the period. The uniqueness of the find is also that the bowl was preserved intact, unlike most Roman artifacts, which are usually found in fragments.
Thousands of people will disappear. A mysterious man with the nickname Darkness Time Travel, who claims to be a time traveler from 2858, continues to excite the minds of social media users. His account on one of the popular platforms has gained more than 150,000 subscribers, and one of the videos telling about predictions has already collected over 1 million views. Such statements not only arouse interest but also many questions, especially among those who are passionate about history and archaeology.
"I am a real-time traveler, listen carefully," he claims in his video. Among his predictions is a plane crash in the United States on December 13th in the western part of Wisconsin, where half of the passengers will allegedly survive. In 2025, according to him, a record number of UFOs will be seen over the United States, and on October 19th, a glowing cloud will cover the top of the Eiffel Tower, causing a wave of discussions around the world. But the most mysterious event will be the activation of the Bermuda Triangle. From September 28th, ships and planes will begin to disappear en masse, taking thousands of people with them. Another unusual prediction concerns March 21st, 2026. The user claims that an underwater structure will be discovered off the coast of Brazil that will surprise even archaeologists. Strange fish, previously unknown to science, will gather around it, and the structure itself may become the key to understanding the mysteries of the ancient world and perhaps even a connection with alien civilizations. These statements cause heated debate, especially among anomaly researchers and archaeology enthusiasts. If the discovered structure really turns out to be an ancient artifact capable of changing our understanding of history, this could become one of the most sensational finds of the century. The most amazing and large-scale forecast for the future sounds like a utopian dream. They say that at the end of 2026, an era of harmony and happiness will begin on Earth, as if humanity will find itself in a paradise. This period will last for several years, during which all wars will cease and people will forget about old grievances and quarrels. Envy and malice will disappear, giving way to kindness and mutual understanding. But it is precisely this calm that will become a catalyst for grandiose changes. The world that calms its storm will soon face the consequences of such a sharp transition. What seemed ideal will mark the beginning of a new stage in the history of mankind. Global changes will inevitably lead to chaos, which will determine the further path of civilization. Perhaps this paradox will become the biggest mystery of the future. How can an era of peace give rise to a new wave of upheavals? I hope you liked the video and it deserves your thumb up. Write what you think about these findings and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye everyone.